You want to know what's terrifying? It's not failing at your goals this year. It's not missing your revenue targets. It's not even skipping the gym for 3 months straight. The truly terrifying thing is this. You might have become someone you don't even recognize. Someone who nods along in meetings that actually drain your soul. Someone who says, maybe next year, to the dreams that used to keep you up at night. Someone who's gotten really, really good at being the wrong person. If this hit you in the chest, and I want you to stick around because today we're doing something most people are too damn scared to do. We're going to look in the mirror and ask the question that changes everything. Who did you become this year? And more importantly, is that who you want to be?
Your Success DNA podcast. Your success is in your DNA.
What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, fellow success seekers? Welcome to another episode of Your Success DNA, the podcast for my aspiring entrepreneurs and 9-to-5 escapees. Heck, you don't need to be an aspiring entrepreneur. You'll still get value. But that's who I'm leaning into. Each episode delivers mindset shifts, habit upgrades, a little dose of rebellion from your whiskered wizard here, helping you break free from the convention to build not just a business, but a life that aligns with your version of success. And if you know someone who dreams of ditching the grind, but still makes time for a little self-help, a little personal development, you might want to go ahead and forward this episode to them. Okay, so let's talk about a year-end reckoning that goes deeper than your goals list. I want you to forget about your vision boards for a minute. Forget about your revenue goals and your habit trackers and whatever Apple device you have on your wrist. We're talking about doing something that most year-end reviews completely omit. They miss. What? I don't even know what that is. And it's the difference between another year of spinning your wheels in the mud and finally breaking free. First, we're going to be exposing the identity trap that keeps high achievers stuck in lives that look successful but feel suffocating. Okay. You'll discover why you can hit every single goal on your list and still feel like you're living someone else's life. Second, I'm going to walk you through the 3-part identity audit framework that reveals who you actually became this year versus who you thought you were becoming. This isn't a feel-good reflection. This, my friends, is a surgical steel self-awareness alert. All right. And third, you're going to get the exact questions that separate the people who transform their lives from the people who just rearrange their to-do lists. Because here's the truth. Your business and your life will never, ever outgrow your identity. And if you don't know who the hell you are, you'll never know where the hell you're going. All right. So here's the truth. Man, I think it's going to sting, maybe smack you upside the back of the head a little bit. Most people do not fail because they set the wrong goals. They fail because they became the wrong person. Yeah. Go ahead. Let that sink in for a moment. You spent this year optimizing your productivity. You spent this year upgrading your skills, maybe even building your side hustle. But you ever stopped to ask, who am I becoming in this process? Because here's what no one talks about, ladies and gentlemen. Every choice that you make, every yes that you give, every no that you state, every boundary you do or do not set, it's all sculpting your identity. And most of us are unconsciously sculpting ourselves into people we do not even like. Yeah, right? Okay. So let me get personal for a minute. There was a moment quite a few years back when I caught my own reflection. It wasn't my personal reflection that I saw, that I focused on maybe. It was who I'd become. I was sitting in yet another marketing meeting, nodding along to the plans that, let's be honest, they felt hollow. I was surrounded by people talking about synergies and optimization and paradigm shifts. And I had this jarring thought. When did I become someone who uses word like synergies unironically? I used to be that guy who questioned everything, who pushed back, who brought unconventional ideas to the table. But somewhere along the way, I became compliant. I became efficient. The guy who delivered what was expected, when it was expected, and how it was expected. And that's when it hit me like a fast-going freight train. I'd spent years becoming really, really good at being someone I didn't even like. Every promotion, every pat on the back and attaboy, every performance review that praised my reliability, those were all rewards for becoming less. Yeah, here's the scary part. I didn't wake up one morning and decide to sell out. It happened chip by chip, little by little, in tiny increments. A little less pushback here, a little more team player there. About 1,000 small moments where I chose fitting in over standing out. I chose security over authenticity. I chose approval over truth. Yeah? Are you nodding along with me right now? Okay. Because if you are, that means you need to answer this question. What if that's what's happening to you right this very minute? What if you're so busy optimizing yourself for success that you're optimizing yourself right out of yourself? Does that sound familiar? Okay. So let's jump into this audit framework I mentioned earlier and get surgical. I'm going to walk you through the 3-part identity audit that will show you exactly who you became this year. So I want you to go ahead and grab yourself something to write on, maybe grab your journal, because let's be honest, I don't want this, especially this episode, to be a passive listening experience. Part 1 is the mirror test. You need to ask yourself these 3 questions and write down your immediate gut level responses. Don't ponder it like you did a granola crunching. No, the immediate first gut level response that pops into your head or pops into your heart, your stomach, that's your answer. Question 1. If someone followed me around for a week and had to describe who I am based on my actions, not my intentions, not my dreams, but based on my actual behavior, what would they say? And you need to be brutal here. Do not write what you want to be. Write who your actions say you are. Question 2. What did I say yes to this year that I wish I hadn't? And what pattern does that reveal about who I'm becoming? Look, I don't want this to be about regretting anything. It's about recognition. Every yes is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every no could be that too, but yeses are usually one that chip away the hardest. Question 3. When do I feel most like myself? And how much of my life am I spending in that state? And if the answer is not much, ding, 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 guess what? We found your problem. Okay. Now let's go into the values archaeology. So in this part here, we're going to dive a little deeper. I want you to excavate your actual values, not the ones you think you should have, not the ones that your boss thinks you should have, your spouse thinks you have, but the ones that your life is actually revealing. Look at your calendar for the past month. Look at the bank statement. Look at how you spent your mental energy. Those are your real values. They're not what you say matters. They're what your life says matters. I want you to write down the top 5 things you actually invested in this year. And when I'm talking about investing, I'm talking about investing in time, in money, in emotional energy, right? What got the most of you? What did you invest the most of you into? Now write down the 5 values you claim are most important to you. Now, look at the 2 lists. Do they match? If they do not, you've just discovered why you freaking feel misaligned all year long. Because what you're doing is the values you're living. What you're feeling inside are the values that are most important to you. You need to align those. And here's the question that changes everything. If I keep becoming who I'm becoming at the current rate I'm becoming it, who will I be in 5 years? And do I want to even meet that person? Look, don't get me wrong. This isn't about predicting the future. It's about recognizing your trajectory, whether it's straight ahead or off to the left. Did you hook that shot? Because here's what people are going to miss. You don't suddenly become someone different. It takes something so radically tragic in your life to make that happen. But normally, you don't suddenly become someone different. You gradually become more of who you're already becoming. If you're becoming someone who says, maybe next year, to your dreams, in 5 years, you'll be an expert at deferring your dreams and your life. If you're becoming someone who chooses comfort over growth, in 5 years, you'll be very comfortable and you'll be very stuck. If you're becoming someone who builds other people's dreams instead of your own, in 5 years, you'll be really good at making other people rich. A lot of you are in that boat right now. The question is that the person you want to become? Listen, this identity audit is hitting you where it hurts. You're not alone. The gap between who we are and who we are becoming is where most people get stuck. They get right into the flow of life, the river of life, and it's like sometimes they're getting beat up on the rocks. But it's also where transformation begins. And that's exactly why I created the Unleash Your DNA newsletter. It's not just another productivity hack collection or motivational fluff piece. It's a weekly dose of mindset shifts and habit upgrades, much like you get here. Not a repeat of it, and a little rebellious thinking to help you close the gap between who you are and who you are meant to be. Each issue is designed for my inspiring entrepreneurs out there, my 9-to-5 escapees, who are really tired of optimizing their way through someone else's life. People who want to build not just happiness, not just a business, but a life aligned with their actual version of success, what they know it is for them. And it's not the same for everybody, is it? So if you're ready to stop becoming the wrong person, start becoming who you actually were meant to be, head on over to Your Success DNA and join the many, many folks that are on there, the future founders who refuse to accept the default life. Okay, here's why this matters more than any goal you could ever set. Ladies and gentlemen, your identity is your operating system. It's your highly optimized autopilot and internal BIOS for your life. Everything else, it's just an app. Okay? You can download all the productivity apps you want, but if your operating system is corrupted, if you don't know who you are or who you're becoming, nothing else is going to work properly. And what I mean by properly is it's not going to work the way you hope it is or way you want it to. This is a deeper paradigm that most personal development podcasts and guidance and books totally miss. We're obsessed with doing more, being more productive, achieving more, but we never ask, who is doing all this achieving? And is that person someone I actually want to be? The most successful people I know aren't the ones with the best systems or even the most discipline. They're the ones with the clearest sense of identity. They know who the hell they are. They know who the hell they're becoming, and they constantly make decisions from that place of clarity. The most dangerous person you could become is someone who's really good at being the wrong person. Just saying, okay? That, I think, is your shareable moment right there. Think about that. Let that really sink in. Because when you're excellent at being inauthentic, when you've mastered the art of living someone else's life, you can go years, decades, without even realizing you're completely off course. Okay? So here's your whiskered wisdom for today. You, my friend, you are not your achievements. You're not your productivity. You're not even your bank account or your job title or your social media following. You're none of those. You are the person making the choices that creates or created all of those things. Yeah. So if you don't like who you are becoming or who you are, here's the beautiful truth. You can choose differently, starting right this very second. So here's your immediate action step for today. Before you go to bed tonight, write down one choice that you made today that moved you closer to who you want to be, to who you want to become. And the one choice that maybe you made today that moved you further away. Don't judge it, just notice it. Because awareness, my friends, is the first step of transformation. If you don't know there's a problem, you can't fix it. Because here's what I know about you. Because you're here still with me this many minutes in. You did not end up listening to a podcast called Your Success DNA by accident. There's something inside of you that refuses to settle, something that knows that you are meant for more than just optimizing your way through someone else's definition of life or success. Trust that voice. It's trying to tell you who you are, whether it's whispering in your ear or screaming from your shoulder. Okay, look. Most people will spend the next week or so making lists of what they want to do differently next year, right? New Year's is coming. But you're not most people, are you? I don't think you are. You're someone who's brave enough to ask the hard question, who do I want to become? That question and your honest answer to it is worth more than 1,000 goal lists, even accomplished ones. Because when you know who you're becoming, the goals kind of take care of themselves. So do the identity audit. Get a little uncomfortable with your answers, and then make the choice that only you can make to become who you're actually meant to be. Because the world does not need yet another optimized version of someone else's expectations. It needs you, the real you, the one that's been waiting inside of you patiently, deep inside, while you spent your time figuring out how to be successful at being, someone else. It's time to come home to yourself. And with that, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully and take action.